All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor and praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. This is the brother Barbara out here with a lesson in Lord willing that's edifying. All right, and this lesson will be entitled Apocalyptic Scene in Venezuela. All right, and just pretty much going into the latest news of what's been going on, the earthquakes in Venezuela, which has been causing catastrophic damage, right? And this was actually prophesied in the scriptures to happen during the end times. So we're gonna read this article and we're gonna bring out some scriptures. All right, this lesson ain't gonna be too long, but it says, 3 days after the devastating earthquakes in Venezuela, the death toll has climbed to at least 920, with more than 3,300 injured and tens of thousands still missing. Rescue operations have continued since the 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes struck the northern shore of the country on Wednesday, with authorities saying 243 people have been saved so far. So, there you go. There you see it, And this has been, what's been causing the most damage as of late as far as earthquakes. But there's really have been earthquakes all throughout the world right now, right? In multiple different areas, But this is what the Lord has prophesied before his return, and not just this, but, we see the wars going on, famines coming, all right, the MOTB, getting closer and closer to being mandatory. So we here, these are the end times that the Bible has been speaking of. Keep reading. It says American search and rescue teams from Virginia, California, and Florida were dispatched to Venezuela on Friday, joining the effort to pull people out of collapsed buildings. So now you have, the U.S. kind of stepping in and, on rescue missions and such, which, hey, we'll see what happens with that. But it says Trump administration pledges $150 million in aid, deploys Navy warships after deadly Venezuela earthquakes. All right, so that's pretty much what's been going on, right? Buildings collapsing, people in panic, just those type of apocalyptic type scenes and conditions going on, right? The death toll, continuing to rise. I mean, it's looking pretty bad out there right now, But that's probably all I'm gonna read from this article. Get into the scriptures. This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. See? And it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And this is an example of that. What's going on in Venezuela. Pestilences, you got the hantavirus coming in, you got certain insects, eating livestock, things of that nature, which that's going to cause, a famine. You also have the Strait of Hormuz closure, which has been, having things, gas prices rise, energy prices rise, just everything rising in general, which will lead to a famine. So these are the times that the Lord was speaking of. You see, it says all these are the beginning of sorrow. So, even now, we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't even gotten to like the climax of Jacob's trouble, because things is only going to continue to intensify, down all the way to the hour of temptation, down all the way to the missiles being shot off, the climax of World War III, the MOTB being mandated, and Yahushua's return. All right. So, we getting ready to see, all these things happen, continue to intensify. All right. This is the book of 2nd Ezra 9:1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that this is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And this is going into the signs of the Lord's coming, which we can read about that in Matthew the 24th chapter. Continue to read with, and it goes more into depth into it. But we're going into the earthquakes, the part with the earthquakes for the sake of the lesson. All right. But hey, as you can see, this is the time when the scriptures say peace and safety and then sudden destruction. So we have to be ready, for these times to come, because they're going to be very heavy times. All right. And I'm going to get real quick Isaiah 33:6, because, this is how we're going to get through these times. All right. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So you got to have the fear of the Lord, and you got to have this wisdom and knowledge and understanding. You got to be built up, and have faith. Ultimately, the scriptures say that the just shall live by faith, So you have to constantly meditate on these times and, pray that the Lord will preserve you, and do your, do what you can to work out your salvation through fear and trembling, right? Making your calling and election sure, because things is only going to continue to get worse. And if the Lord ain't with you, then you're going to get caught up in that destruction, in that judgment. You see? And it says the fear of the Lord is his treasure, which the treasure is something precious, not easily obtainable, something that's highly valuable, which that's this truth, and that's like the ultimate hedge of protection that you can have if you in this truth, right? Your money, your carnal riches ain't gonna save you or do anything for you during that day, So you gotta have the fear of the Lord, and you gotta and that's gonna be a time where you fully operate. You fully gotta operate on faith. It says Ezekiel 33:33, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. So, all these things have been coming to pass in us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. We've been prophesying these things to happen, and the prophets are back today. The prophets hasn't been, done away with. It's not a thing of there isn't any prophets, because you got the guy from the elder, right, from One West saying, pretty much with vocab kind of, bugging out, saying that there's no prophets. Well, what the men of GMS has been saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, these things have been coming to pass, and we've been prophesying the downfall of this place, what to look, the signs to look forward to, and hey, we're seeing all these things come to pass. So it says, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. So eventually people going to be understand, these guys have been warning us about this the whole time. They've been prophesying, they've been blowing the trumpet, and hey, a lot of guys going to try to, at the last second, get this truth, get this, find, try to figure out what to do, trying to find the prophets. But, if the Lord ain't going to give a lot of people that mercy, because, they chose to tarry. They chose to, do their own thing and scoff and whatever. So at that point, the doors of repentance, they're going to be closed, But that'll do it with the lesson of the Lord, one that was edifying. With that, I'd like to give all the honor and praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua Bahashem, Rakakodash. Shalom.